Virginia smoke. OVS, Old Virginia smoke. OVS, Old Virginia smoke. OVS, Old Virginia smoke. Old Virginia.
My name is Luke Darnell, Pitmaster of Old Virginia Smoke Barbecue, and I'm here to tell you about my new online class available at BBQChamps.com. This is a 100% tell-all competition barbecue class from yours truly, available online. It is a masterclass with 34 high-definition tell-all online competition barbecue videos that can be watched anytime, and they do not expire. They are packed full of pro tips, techniques, and recipes that will show you how to take your barbecue to the next level. These 34 barbecue cooking videos total 7 hours and will show you everything that you need to take your competition cooking to a level that you never thought was possible. We've already heard from several teams that have bought our classes and have already seen success and gotten their first calls. So this is something that brings me a lot of joy in sharing my knowledge and seeing people be successful with it. So are you ready to take your competition and backyard cooking to the next level? What are you waiting for? Just go ahead and go to BBQChamps.com and find Luke Darnell, Old Virginia Smoke. We hope you learn a lot and enjoy these videos and have as much fun cooking these recipes as we had making them. This podcast is brought to you by BBQData.com. BBQData.com is your one-stop shop for all of your barbecue competition data. Historical data, calls, wins, placements, everything under one roof. It's a great way not only to track yourself in the standings, but also to track how you improve your scores from year to year. Listeners of this podcast can receive 20% off of a new subscription to BBQData.com with the code PITPOD. That's one word, all capital letters, PITPOD, PITPOD. So check your team scores, check on others, and do it all on BBQData.com. All right. Welcome to another edition of Pitmaster, an Old Virginia Smoke podcast. My name is Luke Darnell. We've had a pretty busy summer, but it's great to get back with you guys. And I wanted to bring in one of the hottest teams in KCBS right now. Meet Candy Q, Dave and Shirin from El Cajon, California, currently doing a Midwest tour. How are you guys?
Hi.
Hey, Luke. It's great being here.
Awesome. It's great to have you on. You've been on a little bit of a rib tear, huh?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good year. I think we've got 7 first place finishes in ribs. You got to cook well, but you got to get a lot of luck to get that many first places as well. So you make your own fortune, but you're also thankful for it.
I think it's actually more impressive that you have now gone 10 straight contests with a pork call, considering that's one of the hardest categories. I think that's pretty neat.
I appreciate you saying that because I think the pork has been what I've probably been most proud of. Because I agree with you. It's really kind of dug in there and been a heavy for the team, So we're kind of riding that horse right now.
And that's an important thing to do. And, somebody a lot smarter than me told me a long time ago, take your worst category and make it your best category. And pork has been one of our best categories this year too. So it's practice makes perfect,
Yeah. And what's funny about pork, I found that it's like little changes can pay off like big dividends. And I just kind of feel like that's what we did. We weren't doing so well in pork, it seemed, or as well as we had grown accustomed to over the years. And then we just made some minor tweaks and freshened it up, as I like to think about it. And that did the trick, And even when I look at the pork now, it doesn't look tired anymore, It just kind of looked tired and run down. The old process wasn't there, but we haven't changed really that much, And then it kind of came back to life a little bit.
That's great. That's I've always found with pork that generally taking stuff away does more than adding things. So let's jump into this a little bit. You guys started cooking in 2013. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we were Meat Candy Q in 2013. We had cooked a competition in 2012 under Zelda Smoke was our first team name. So that's how long we've been doing it for.
That's cool. Roughly about the same amount of time that we've been doing it for. That's pretty cool. And you're one
nearly a success.
I disagree with that. The year that you're having right now is pretty amazing. So, how does your career and life experiences outside of barbecue prepare you to be a pitmaster on the trail?
I think they converge pretty well. I'm a lawyer by trade, by day, and it's a stressful job, a stressful business, and I just feel like you got to have an outlet. You can't just. I learned a long time ago from a great professor of mine that said you gotta play a sport. You have to have a passion outside of your job, or you're going to burn out. And it was the best advice I ever got. And so I was kind of searching for something to dive into, and cooking barbecue and competitively cooking barbecue really just kind of hit that niche perfectly. We always love to cook, and I'm super competitive. So
yeah, that's the key. It had to be something that was competitive too, because I think that's added on to like what worked for him is that not just having a hobby or a passion, but something that it can get his competitive juices flowing as well.
Now, judging by the response there, Shirin, I think that you also are a competitive person.
Yeah, I think so. My family, I'm one of 8 kids, and every single one of us is pretty competitive. I like to say that I'm not as competitive as my siblings. So I think that is helpful. We can't both be insanely competitive on this team. One of us has to be a little bit grounded in it. But yeah, I think I'm a bit competitive too.
The similarities between you guys and me and my wife are very, very, it's like East Coast, West Coast, same thing. It's we're both super competitive, but my wife, she claims she's not, but she's by far way more competitive than I am. So, that's cool. You might,
that's totally it.
Yeah, you might be the first lawyer on the podcast. 150 episodes.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
there's not many of us in comp barbecue. There's not many of us in comp barbecue.
So I got to ask right now, you're going all over the country and cooking. Are you chasing the rib jacket?
I think so. I think after we came out to the Midwest in July and we did 5 contests, and that was going to be the end of it. We weren't going to do any more contests out here. But we finished up with 2 first places in Dodge City. And it was like, wow, we're sitting at number 2. And I think I had a 10, an 8, and a 6 to replace. And I'm thinking, we got a shot here. And I don't have any more contests in California. And so when am I going to get this shot again? So, let's find a way to get back out there. So we came back out. And then we had a nice cook in Burlington. We got another first place finish and a 3rd place in the rib burn. And so, yeah, I think that it's fair to say that.
Yeah, because that got tight really fast. It's there's a lot of people within striking distance of that, but you're starting to put a little space between you guys and the other competitors. What's the most surprising thing that came out of competition barbecue for you guys? What is participating in this hobby done for you that you didn't expect when you first started?
Made the world smaller.
I think that, yeah, for sure. It made it smaller, especially this trip. We know so many people now all over the country and even the world. I mean, now we get to go to the Royal, and we're telling people now when we leave a competition, we'll see you at the Royal, which is just, kind of amazing. Or we'll see you at the next, we'll see you in more. We'll see you, and it's just kind of nuts. We're from all over the place, but we all have this one thing in common, and we call it our barbecue family. And it's really, really fun to have that and just travel the country and just kind of get to know different people from each state. So it's been nice.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm pretty excited to meet you guys at the Royal myself. It's going to be cold, but that'll be fine. Let's switch gears here a little bit and talk about gear a little bit. What's one of the most worthwhile investments that you guys have made in competition barbecue?
I mean, easy one is trailer. Second one would be going with cooking on gateways, consolidating the cook process that way. So our gateways and trailer, easy investments.
Yeah, those are both great investments. And when you can have that, have your setup and have the way you do things, that's super important. But those are expensive things. Do you guys have any tools or anything that you've purchased that are $100 and less that really, really help out your cook?
Yes. Kingsford tins.
Kingsford tents?
Kingsford tins. Like pans, Kingsford pans.
Oh.
They're, Kingsford pans. Sorry, I refer to them as tins all the time. They're awesome because it's an in-between. I don't know if you've seen them before, but they're awesome because they're in-between size from the small pan and the full pan. And so, like, if you were doing a bunch of chicken or whatever, you could put it all in the Kingsford pan, and you don't have to dog ear up the small tins. So it's the Goldilocks pan. I love it, and that's way less than $100.
Way less, and I can't wait to actually go find this because that's always the problem for me is having the right size pan for chicken. It's changed the way I cook chicken, so if I could find something different, that'd be great. Any other tools? Any other things less than $100 that are really good?
Yeah, I use for scraping skins. Whenever I do it, I don't really do it as much anymore, but I still do it when there's excessive fat on the skins. I use a paint scraper, just get the outsides of them and get that off. And I found that's way better than a knife, probably because I'm just not as gifted with a knife and I go through the skins. But this I found worked out the best. And what's that? $10?
These are all great things, man. These are this is the stuff that people listen to this podcast for. This is pure gold. Now I got to go to the store and get a paint scraper. Try this out. Now we're going to switch gears here a little bit and talk about some people. Like, who has impacted your guys' life the most in competition barbecue?
There's so many. I would say that I took a couple from Sterling Smith and also Jerry Aguilar. They're phenomenal cooks. But what really, really, what stuck out to me, not to compare either one of them, but Smitty, his approach to cooking is it hit with me. He's very much so like, you take what the cook gives you. You have a plan, you go in with a plan, you try and work the plan, but sometimes it doesn't work out. That's okay. If your cooker runs a little bit hot, just move the meat around a little bit, things like that, like how to respond and how to stay in the cook when the cook starts being cookie, doing its own thing. And that really was, I think, a turning point, that he had a presence of mind that I really try and employ in every cook. So I'd say from that perspective, he was a huge influence on me.
That's cool. And he did mention, he and I spoke earlier today that you were an alumni of his class. I told him that I was going to interview you today. So he was super excited about that. When you hear the word successful in terms of barbecue, who's the first person that comes to mind?
I mean, the GOAT, Darren Worth. I mean, that's an easy one. His Hall of Fame speech, epic. Epic, dude. He comes to mind. Sterling Ball comes to mind. Everything he touches seems to turn to gold. And I think he's, one of the Mount Rushmore cooks. He's fantastic. Those two, to name just a few, gosh, there's just so many.
Absolutely. Especially being out there on the West Coast, Big Papa is a big influence, and we're sending you all the love in the world right now, Big Pops. Get well.
100%.
So, all right, let's get into it. Habits, rituals, routines, superstitions. What do we got?
Habits. We have these skeletons that we put out in front of the trailer and put them in the same sweatshirts. We're sponsored by Royal Oak. One's got a Royal Oak sweatshirt on, and the other's got a KCBS
World Invitational.
Very faded sweatshirt on. But those guys got to go out every single contest.
In the same chairs.
Same chairs.
Yeah, wearing the same hats.
And one of them has like one of the most comfortable chairs. So, I mean, that's how superstitious it is, I guess.
Yes, we do that. And actually, it started because a while back, I was doing these skeleton Dave posts for the month of October for Halloween that kind of just started, started as a joke, and then it became something I couldn't stop doing because everyone on Facebook and Instagram were like begging for more. So I would just keep doing them. And then I had one that I brought with us a while back, on comp, and it kind of just stuck. And actually it was Jerry's wife who, I can't call her name, but she loved it so much. She wanted to take a picture with him. And so it's ever since then, we've just had the one, and then I brought another one along on a trip, and then we ended up with two. And so now they both have to go up every single comp.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like we're scratching the surface here in terms of superstitions and stuff.
Yeah. I remember you had a podcast with Thomas Gearhart, and he said that like one of the things that he doesn't do anymore is like put out stuff like that because it takes a lot of time and effort and stuff like that. I totally 100% agree with everything that he says. We just can't.
We can't stop ourselves.
We got to put it out.
Yeah, and now like we have certain things that we wear. Like I have like the same color shirt, watching the same shirt on competition day, the same shirt the night before, the same socks, everything. It's a little obsessive.
She's just a little bit competitive, maybe.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty funny. Do you guys listen to music during the cook?
Absolutely.
Yes, he has a playlist that we add to every now and then, and it goes off at a certain time when it's time to get serious. But yes, we play music during the morning, and then also during prep.
Yeah, so like when I first get there first thing in the morning, I've got a Bruce Springsteen mellow mix that I play. And then I probably don't turn the music on, the other playlist on until about like 7 in the morning. And then when that goes on, it's got Foo Fighters, Bruce.
Brandy Carlisle for me.
Brandy Carlisle. And it's got goofy stuff
Brandy
on there too. It's even got.
Yes.
Nice. What do we have? The St. Elmo's Fire soundtrack song. We put that on there.
Yeah, you gotta have whatever.
You wouldn't.
Whatever gets.
You go by our tent. You never know what you're going to hear because we keep adding. When we hear a song that we like, we just decide to. Well, he decides to add it to the playlist.
Yeah, if I think it's funny or whatever, it makes me think of something, we throw it on there.
Yeah, we have a similar deal. We call it the Ultimate Barbecue Playlist. You're allowed to blindly put on 5 songs a year without the other person's approval, but like if that song comes on during the mix and the other person disapproves, like it's automatically vetoed. The rest of the songs have to be mutually agreed upon. We've been doing this for 10 years now. It's quite the list.
Wow, that's some
amazing.
system.
I love it.
And we're coming up on a couple of really long drives where we'll listen to the whole thing straight through and we'll clean it up and get rid of songs that are old or tired. And yeah, I should do a whole podcast just on barbecue playlists. I think it would be amazing.
Awesome.
Totally would be. I agree. She's got a strict rule though that we got to shut it off at 11 o'clock,
Yes.
11 a.m. There's no more music on.
Oh, wow. That's tough. We have playlists for each meat at turn-in time. It's the same 7 songs for like there's a chicken playlist, a rib playlist, a pork playlist, a brisket playlist. Like when I hear Juicy from the Notorious B.I.G., I know it's chicken time. That's important.
That sounds like a ton of fun, Luke. I'd love to be able to do that. These are all great ideas.
No.
Not allowed. 11 o'clock.
The only problem I get into is that I play it louder than maybe maybe Kim really wants it, so we have to turn it down. But that's fine.
I feel for her. He plays his a little loud for me sometimes.
I feel like Shirin and Kim would get along very well, and probably have to make that meeting happen at the Royal.
Yes,
I think so.
definitely.
Love it.
This is probably my favorite question. We in barbecue, we all love to talk about how great we are and our successes. Do you have a favorite failure of yours that happened at a contest where you guys really learned something? You know, something went wrong, but you learned something like, okay, you know, now we know what to do in that situation, or okay, now we know never to do that again. Is there any favorite failure that you guys have?
We had so many failures because that's, I think, what all this with our team is built on.
Yeah.
is built on these failures. It's, gosh, I wish I had a specific incident. We've had grease fires before that, you know, were failures that turned into, we were able to recover. And there was one time we had a grease fire back when we cooked on our offset. We were in Newport Beach, and we had our ribs wrapped up in there. I think our pork butt was finishing up. But mainly we were concerned about the ribs, that it was just going to destroy them. And so we had to pull everything out, let the cooker cool off. And then, of course, we had to, when we returned them back to the cooker, we're running out of time. We were going to have to fly the foil, so to speak, you know, like rip the temperature back up there, but risk another grease fire. So we did that. And at that time, we weren't cooking hot and fast. We were cooking, you know, probably at about like 250. And we were cooking these ribs in the foil at that point, like super hot. They came out. We ended up getting, you know, third place ribs. They were delicious. They were fantastic. So I think that was an occasion where it was obviously a huge failure having a fire, but, you know, it kind of taught us that there was more than one way to cook those, you know, not being a slave to the routine.
And I think also it's important to mention that whenever we do, because again, we are very used to failure, you know, for many years. I think that we always have this need to be positive. Like we had a bad day in Danuba, you know, recently or whatever, but it was like afterwards, you look at your results, you analyze them, and you pay attention to it, but the negativity needs to not supersede what you can learn from it, and you need to stay positive. Just recently, you know, we were listening to results, and we weren't hearing our name called, and he could tell that I was starting to get a little bit worried, and he, you know, turned to me and said, you know, this could just not be our day. You know, this could just be not, and it doesn't mean anything about us as cooks. It just means this just isn't our day. And I think that's important that we can do that for each other during any competition. So. Wow,
that's a great message. We need to put that on a T-shirt or something and share it with a lot of people in the barbecue world. All right. So, did a little bit of digging earlier. No, I was just doing some quick math. And like, if I win ribs at my next 6 contests, I can catch you.
Oh no!
You may be able to do it. You're having a fantastic year.
Not gonna happen. But I'm definitely will be rooting for you guys. But that doesn't mean that we're going to avoid these rapid fire questions. This is my favorite part of the podcast. What do you see about barbecue on social media that upsets or bothers you?
Judge bashing. You know, it's. I don't like seeing that on social media. You know, I know, man, there's been comps that, you know, I look at the scores and I look at the judges and, you know, I know we didn't get a fair shot. You know what I mean? It didn't feel that way. It was a tough table. I know that exists, but I just don't think that it ever reflects the way that the people who say that on social media talk about the judging. I don't think that it reflects on them the way that they want it to. Like, I know what they're trying to say is they're trying to say that, you know, hey, we're really good cooks still. And even though we got this bad score, and they're trying to qualify it. And it's just like, it's okay that you didn't score as well as you did. And it just kind of comes off as a little bit a little bit petty. Maybe the judges had a bad day or whatever. I don't, even though there's times that I feel that way, I don't like to put that on social media. I just like to be able to focus on the positives of what we did at a contest. And I just think that if people would just kind of, let it go a little bit, and not have to feel the need to point out the reason why they didn't do so well, may have been the judges or whatever.
I love this theme of barbecue positivity. This is fantastic for me. And I think it's something that, we all really need to focus on. It's not like this hobby is in a growth spurt right now. We're in, kind of a level of off period, and we need to grow it. And we're not going to do that through negativity. We're going to do that through positivity.
Totally agree.
All right. This is a favorite question. What is your guys' favorite pre, during, or post competition meal?
We always do, when we can, if it's around and we're home, we will do Mexican the day before we leave for a comp. And then post, we used to do pizza a lot.
Used to be pizza. And now it's just a matter of whatever's around us. I don't think we have that's the one area of superstition that we kind of don't follow that tightly. I don't think that we have a barbecue meal. We don't know where we're going
to be nowadays. We're in different areas that we haven't been in before. So
that's important. Yeah. When you're traveling around and you're in unfamiliar territory, those are my favorite meals though, just to find something that's popular with locals and go see what's happening. Okay. Do you have a favorite present that you like to give to people?
Yeah. Snake River Farms steaks, rubs and seasonings, And
we give our family sometimes our swag, T-shirts and hat. Our nephew just took one of our Meat Candy Q beanies to Spain with him. He's playing on a soccer team in Spain, and he wears it all over this little town in Spain. So that's kind of cool.
That's great. That is a great story. That's awesome. All right.
We're international, Luke.
I love that. I love that you're international, and we need to get back to having more of that in barbecue as well. If you could have a giant billboard anywhere with anything on it, getting a message out to millions, what would it say and why?
I think let it go. Honestly, I think let it go. I think we're most of our problems are based on being wound up too tight.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so I think, we're much more successful when we just let it go. It's going to be all right.
That is great advice that we can all take advantage of. So are there any sponsors that you want to hit on the way, and also let people know where they can find you guys online? Yeah,
absolutely. We are a proud team member of Team Royal Oak. We have been for the last 3 years. I think that's the best charcoal on the planet. They're a wonderful company, and they absolutely are, big part of the barbecue family for us. So we're definitely proud to be partnered up with them. And you can find us on social at Meat Candy Q on Instagram, and same thing on Facebook. And Team Cosmos. How can I forget that? Yeah. Cosmos Rubs and Spices. Mm-hmm. Happy to be a team member of that.
That's awesome. Cosmo. Yeah, we don't want to leave him off. That's somebody you got to have on the podcast. All right, guys. Awesome. Well, we will see you at the Royal, and be safe with all your travels, and good luck.
Right on, Luke. Thanks so much too, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Pitmaster, an Old Virginia Smoke podcast. Be sure to subscribe and like the podcast, rate the podcast, and to share it out with your friends. Also, be sure to check out the Old Virginia Smoke TikTok as well. Old Virginia Smoke, one word. That's all you have to search for. It's hilarious. Tune in next week for another great episode of Pitmaster. For companies interested in advertising, please contact Old Virginia Smoke directly via www.oldvirginiasmoke.com. Pitmaster, an Old Virginia Smoke podcast, is edited by Chris Sedanka. Pitmaster, an Old Virginia Smoke podcast, is a property of Old Virginia Smoke, LLC.
Old Virginia.